And here we go, Daybreak with another Terran versus Protoss. And to the bottom left of the map we have our Terran player, this time in red. He's starting for the Casper team and he lost already the first map to his opponent. Starting to the top right, in the blue, is player A.
Player A, indeed.
Let's call him John.
Call him John if you like.
No, Mr. Smith.
You could call him Jingleheimer Smith or something like that. But yeah, Smith is fine. And our Terran, we can call him Mr. Anderson.
Or Bob.
Or Bob. Or Bob. Well, again, our Terran player decided not to wall. And this is just a stylistic choice. You get the depot up faster, which means that you get one SCV just so much faster, you lose a little bit less mining time. But the trade-off is that if you want to hide something, you can't have that 3-building wall off to stop the probe from scouting what you're doing. But some players just feel comfortable saying, alright, that's fine. If you see I've taken no gas, I'm going to 1-rax expand. That's okay with me because that's pretty textbook. But if you put that earlier depot down, it used to usually indicate that players would go for 1-rax expand, but these days anything is possible. It could be a quick double gas after that, and that kind of hiding of information is really useful. So it just depends on what you want to do, how much information you want to keep from your opponent.
One of the reasons, by the way, why these players are anonymous is that, of course, the Casper players don't really want to reveal their IDs. They want to stay a little bit more hidden. You can compete with players, if you're a Casper player, that is, you can compete with the GSL players every day on the ladder, of course, but this is a little bit of a different environment, and you are facing now specific players. You are facing GSL Code A or Code S players. You just want to compete, want to see if you are able to compete with them. And at the same time, it takes a little bit of the pressure away from you when you don't have to reveal your ID. So I can completely understand that how this format is set up. I really like it. I'm so looking forward when we finally have the Brood War players facing the GSL players in the GSL, in the OSL, and just all those leagues that are out there. When both will merge, this is going to be really good. Really
it's going to be insane, man. I really think that it's going to be quite sick to watch because, you know, some people strongly believe. By the way, I noticed a subtle cancel of the Zealot there as the SCV comes in. He wants to chrono boost his Stalker out, make sure he can shut that Scout down faster, but also he feels he does not need the Zealot. But I feel like some people really feel that the Brood War players will dominate 100%, but I'm not so convinced, not yet. And that's something I'm really looking forward to see. Okay, SCV Scout gone, gonna plant the Nexus, and he's got the Stalker out to deny now and chase. But if he tries to hunt down the SCV, he will not be able to put pressure on the bunker at the front. And yet again, Casper Terran going for a fast third command center.
Yeah, he really seems to like this style. So we'll find out what exactly the Protoss does this time. If the GSL player is able to scout this fast enough, then he should be able to... I'm not quite sure if he's going for the same type of reaction. I actually highly doubt it. But at the same time, this just leaves a whole lot of option for him. He must be pretty confident right now. You win the first game and you win it very easily, so it's a straightforward win. And now he has something to fall back onto. Even if he loses on Daybreak, he has a second map to triumph in the best of 3. So yeah. I'm interested to see when exactly he's going to add the robotics. And there it is right away once again, not wasting any time with additional gateways. He will find out that his opponent, that the Casper Terran, is starting with the 3 command centers very fast.
Yeah, he's going for the exact same build. Both players really following things up quite similarly. Double barracks now going up for the Casper Terran as well. And look at this, he's going to try to deny the SCV Scout. He's got Stalkers on both sides. He will not be able to stop him from the Nexus. Oh, he needs one more shot to stop the robotics. I do not believe he saw that. Nope, no vision. Nice job with the Stalkers, making sure his opponent does not know that he went for that faster robo. Now, like you said, we may see the exact same fallout, but there's a lot of potential of seeing the other option, especially on a map like this where the third base is really accessible. Terran players often do not feel comfortable on the late game against Protosses on this map. They've complained about this map specifically in interviews, but I feel personally this map is pretty balanced, and clearly our Casper Terran feels pretty comfortable in the late game as he is going for this fast third command center build. We'll just see what our Protoss here has in mind.
And he'll find out very soon about the third command center. The observer just been on, so he sends it out immediately. And the only... well, what could happen is that our Casper Terran actually sees the observer, because he has the Zalnaga watchtower, he has a few marines over there, so if he pays attention to the minimap, he might be able to spot it. And he just scanned his opponent's base and saw the second observer leave. So maybe, just maybe, he knows what's going on here. And here comes the Observer, heads straight for the main base. There are no units. I don't think he saw it. He could have seen it with the help of the Xel'Naga Watchtower, but I actually don't think so. And there it is, the Robotics Bay right away, even before he's in the main base of the Terran.
He had a pretty good idea with how many Marines he saw in the middle of the map, it seems, of what was going on. And just quickly getting a Forge as well this time, which does give him a little bit more leeway to fall back. And this may be, you know, a third base with the Robotic Support Bay. We mentioned before that's another possibility.
He's chasing the Observer. He's actually looking for the Observer with the Marines. The second Observer went to the roughly to the third base, so he did not pass the Xel'Naga Watchtower. But as the Terran player with his scan knew that there was an Observer on his way, he was waiting for it. And when he couldn't find it, he fell back into his natural and just moved around with his Marines looking for the Observer to scan.
You're
really
right.
Smart.
It's really smart. It's a very good show of awareness as well. You know, just being very aware of the timings of the Observer coming in. Things seeming a little bit shaky with our Kespa Terran's opening, with how he's been following this up. As soon as the Observer came to his base, he didn't make an add-on to his factory. He didn't start a starport for quite some time, about 1 in-game minute. He started 3 barracks instead, so he's got Stim and +1 on the way. Combat shields being started now, but his medevacs are a little bit late. And, you know, that's a lot of resources wasted on a dead factory that's kind of sitting in your base. So just showing a little bit of perhaps nervousness or focusing on the Observer. After losing that first game and the way he did, I think he's trying to be very careful here with this follow-up. Maybe too careful. He scans the main base again, but this time does not see the Robotic Support Bay, nor does he see the Forge. So he's very much in the dark, and he hasn't even been able to scout his opponent's third base yet. So he's very much in the dark right now, and that's the scariest place to be.
Exactly. We have a different style of play for the GSL Protoss now. He does not only get the Forge and starts with the upgrades, but he also gets this third base that we've been talking about. So he's not heading out right away and starts to take down his opponent, but he is just opting for a very, very strong army that evolves around Colossi with upgrades. There's already the double Forge, and the problem for our Kespa Terran currently is that he might have the third orbital command and he might have the Mule, but he just does not saturate 3 bases yet. He's been spotted now as he moves out as well, because there is one Observer. How many Observers does he actually have?
Just 2.
Just 2, okay, so it's not parting.
No, not parting. And he hasn't lost all of them yet, so he's not creator. But
that's actually a really good point. So guys, we can rule out parting, we can rule out creator.
Yeah, also he would have had his second Forge a lot faster if he were creator, so it's pretty clear. He's being very careful with his Observer, making sure it doesn't get sniped next to the army, but at the same time following it. Range is finishing up here just as he hits the third Nexus, and this is the worst possible feeling as a Terran, going, oh, he's had the Nexus for a while, and he's going to defend it, and I didn't put my third command center on the low ground. Now check that out. Notice that he stemmed just a few of his units to try to allow the majority of his units to escape. He doesn't know if Blink is done. That's something that could possibly be the case.
Maybe now with the reinforcements, he doesn't want to fight here. He does not want to fight those Colossi. +2 armor on its way, +1 attack, Blink as well. Colossi number 3 is also building for GSL Protoss. And of course the Kespa Terran is now in a situation where he desperately needs Vikings, and he's building them. He has those double starports.
Yep.
This is exactly what he needs right now, because this will enable him to not only get the Vikings like really fast, but he can also build a couple of medevacs as soon as he has an amount that he's comfortable with.
I like that he skips the reactor on the second starport as well, because he knows he needs the Vikings now. And a little bit of trivia, reactor takes pretty much just as long as a starport to build, so you just gotta, you make that starport, you start the Vikings there immediately. To go for the double reactor is something you might want to do late game when you expect a Colossus transition back out of High Templar, for example, but in this case, I really like just pumping out 3 at a time. We already see the Templar Archives on the way for a Protoss, and he's got to be feeling great with how much he pushed that Terran army back. And look at this, checks with a Warpin of Zealots for the third base, doesn't see it, and that's actually really weird. He's now going to want to go and check the center base, because that's the next logical place for it to be, because he knows there's a third command center. Okay, there it is.
There it is, he sees it, and at the same time our Kespa Terran trying to apply some pressure here. The army supply is highly in his favor, with 115 against 78.
Yeah, he really pumped out a ton of units from those barracks.
But Wolf, his upgrades are so far behind.
Yeah, a +2 armor is about to finish for our GSL Protoss. And remember, with the amount of barracks he added, sure, he spent a lot of resource and a lot of gas on the army. That gives his army a lot of strength, but the GSL player has been getting those upgrades, he's been boosting up his Colossi count, he's got Charge on the way, and he's trying to get High Templar out. So that's the trade-off here, and forces a stem without taking any real hits. A great small victory there for our GSL player. He's warping in some High Templar now. He's getting ready.
Yeah, he is, but there's a lot of DPS, and if the Terran gets in a good position, he might snipe a Nexus here. But our GSL Protoss is in position, and here we go, dishing out that damage, but one of the Colossi immediately dies to the Vikings. At the same time, the force fields are spot on here, and both plays dropping in supply like equally. Most of the Colossi are already gone.
Most of the Colossi are gone. One still doing some extra damage here. Even the Immortal in the mix being quite helpful. And remember, he has Blink. He blinks forward, and there are a few more sentries joining in the mix. The Archon leading the charge here. This may actually have been a little bit overzealous of our Terran player from Kespa trying to attack here in this location. He's way behind in upgrades. +2 about to finish for our GSL player, and this is looking troublesome.
Another offensive blink by the GSL Protoss enables him to get another Viking and a Marauder. And this is indeed quite the problem for our Terran, who tries to drop now at the natural, but at the same time the upgrades for Protoss are already on 3. He's researching armor upgrade number 3. He just finished attack upgrade number 2, so currently he's on 2-2 and his opponent is on 1-1.
Yeah, this is going to become even more problematic as time goes on. 3 additional gateways being added here, and I really feel like our GSL Protoss wants to hit this third base. He wants to hit it hard. He knows he has an advantage right now, and he is not going to wait to use it.
No, and why would he? We have the Ghost transition now for our Terran. At the same time, though, with all these upgrades that he has, +3/+3 already on its way, while the Terran for Casper team has not even started his armor upgrade, the second one. So he is far behind. Well, in army supply, actually, to give you roughly an idea, we have 87 against 90 army supply. So the army supply is even, but with all the additional tech and with those upgrades that the GSL Protoss currently has, he is in a great position to take this game.
Yeah, it's about to be 2 Colossi against 5 Vikings. The ship weapons +1 is just now being started, so he is going to have +3 armor against every single Viking shot he faces. And this Zealot is actually going to sneak in. If he doesn't deal with this very quickly, he's going to lose a lot of SCVs. He's going to have to pull some potentially here. Great attack. Just 1 Zealot. Why not? Send it in. Forces a lot of these units back. He kills several SCVs already.
3 kills? That's all you need. 3 kills on gas. It's perfect.
One thing to note is that our GSL Protoss has not researched Storm. He is using these High Templar that he makes for only Archons right now. He's making +1 shields as well to make those Archons a little bit stronger. +3 is almost done.
Exactly. Oh, actually, the armor upgrade +3 is done already.
Yeah.
So he's getting shields now. He's getting +3 attack, and if he attacks with a +3 attack upgrade, he will have 3/3. And if the Terran player is, well, he will have +1 armor and +2 attack. But if the Protoss hits this timing, it's going to be very, very scary for the Terran player.
Oh, he's making a Manor Nexus right now before the battle even occurs. That is quite bold. That may give us somewhat of an indication as to who this might be.
Is it you?
It may be, man. Here we go. Archon's leading the charge. The Zealot's actually not really able to participate in the fight as they all charged at that command center. But even without the DPS of the Zealots, he did so much damage, and now the Zealots have joined in here. Even that one Immortal from earlier doing quite a bit of damage. The command center will fall. He's making 3 Nexi.
3 mana next time at the same time. Those Colossi still alive. There's the GG as the Casper Terran loses 2-0. And guys, there they are, the mana Nexi for our Protoss. It's actually really interesting to see who exactly that is, because, well, it's not going to be Seed. Seed has to prepare for his GSL match, so I highly doubt that he will participate in today's Ready Action Games, but whoever this is like, what? That's pretty cool.
That is pretty bold, making quite a statement there, knocking that Kespa player out.
And before the fight occurs, he places down the first one, and in the middle of the fight, he throws down 3 additional ones, so look at that.
Well, when you're a Terran player and you have a fast third command center, you think you're ahead, you're trying to play cautious, and you go to your opponent's third Nexus and try to pressure, and he holds, he has a better army than you, and he's had the Nexus up for so long. That's like being in a nightmare. That's like when you find out that bad dreams can be reality, and you're looking at the Nexus and you're like, how can I approach the situation? What do I do next? I'm behind in upgrades, my tech is late.
I'm waiting for the team now. I want to know whose team is on. Okay,
we're going to reveal the teams. Let's do it. Ah! Alright, we're going to take a look.
And
the music is playing. It's team revealing time. Startail. All right.
So, parting after all?
Maybe, man. Maybe, actually.
And only 2 observers? But the way that he used them was actually pretty cool. So.
It was cool. What if we have the same Protoss from last week? That could be possible. You know, if you win once, you come back, it messes with people's heads.
Well, if it was really ace last week, but do you think? Okay, with StarTale we have of course 3 Protoss players. We have Parting, Squirtle, and
Ace.
And Ace. I don't think that. Well, I guess Naniwa could play as well. I don't think it is him. I'm pretty sure that it isn't him. But I would say, I don't know.
You know, I feel like with the way that he reacted with the robotic support bay in both games, I don't think it's Parting. Parting does not usually play like this. It's possible that it's Squirtle. And as far as Ace goes, you know, it's possible as well, especially with the next side at the end that seems a little bit acey. But it's not certain. I need more clues. And we're going to get some a little bit later as he plays against the winner of our next best of 3. Let me make sure I get into this game. Can't stop me. I got in.
It's actually cheeky that they don't invite you. We should be like legend. Seriously. Yeah, in the next game we have Zerg versus Protoss. The first map is once again Entombed.
Yes.
I think the Zerg player is the GSL player. Is that right?
I believe
we'll find out.
Yeah, actually it is. Yeah, I remember now.
I'm pretty sure. Was always the player to the left.
Great. I just remember.
Yeah,
okay, we just got confirmation. I just remember when I was looking at the sheet, I was like, I think. Yeah, it was Kesper, Protoss, and yeah. So GSL Zerg, Kesper, Protoss.
Yeah, on the sheet it was like Protoss, Terran, Zerg, Protoss, and the GSL players always to the left.
Yep.
So,
well, I have no idea who we're gonna have for these guys, but they're Protosses for Kesper players. I'm watching a lot of Pro League. They seem to be the scariest right now, and this Zerg player is gonna have to watch out. He's gonna have to take this player seriously. We don't know who the Zerg could be. I would love to see someone like Lenok play in this, but I know he's really busily preparing for GSTL right now. This is actually something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, me too. And the first game is on Entombed. There are not a lot of Zerg players who really like Entombed.
No, that's not going to be something the Castle player is going to feel comfortable with at all.
And they are ready, so we are going to start the match. So whoever wins here has to face a StarTale player in the final of today.
Yep. Countdown is finishing up. Let's jump into Tomb Valley right now.
You are a